In this presentation, we will record transactions in a custodial fund and general fund. Recalling that a custodial fund is going to be a fiduciary type fund. So we have three types of funds. We have the governmental type funds. That's going to be the largest category of funds. We have the proprietary type funds. Those are the ones that are going to be similar to a for-profit in that we have something like customers within them. Then we have the fiduciary funds, which act like basically a fiduciary responsibility of some kind, similar to a trust, some type of holding of funds in some type of agency agreement, acting as a fiduciary. The general fund, of course, is our largest type of fund. That's going to be a governmental type fund, the main governmental type fund. So every time we have the governmental accounting or fund accounting, we're going to have one and only one general fund. The scenario is going to be that we're going to have a custodial fund. The custodial fund will be set up in order to collect taxes related to the county, the town, school district, and other towns. Therefore, the custodial fund is going to act basically like an agent, like a holding account. We're going to put the money into the custodial fund. We're going to track the money within the custodial fund, but it doesn't belong in essence to the custodial fund. It will then be distributed to these other locations, including the county general fund, the town general fund, the school districts, and other towns. So we're going to collect the taxes. We're going to find out how we're going to distribute the taxes. Then we'll distribute those taxes to the proper locations. There will be general fund estimated uncollected of 3%. So the first thing we're going to say is that we have taxes receivable as we assess these items for the total of all of these items at the 24,935. That's what the receivable is going to be in the custodial fund, the holding fund that is going to be related to all of these other locations, county, town, school, other towns. So if we record this type of transaction, we're going to say that the receivable is increasing now because in essence, we're thinking that we levied the taxes, kind of like if we sent an invoice, if it was a for-profit type of organization. The other side not going to an income statement account, as you would think, if we were to process taxes or something like that, because you would think that would be revenue on an accrual basis. But instead, we're going to put it to due to other funds and governments, because in essence, this is a holding account. So we want to record the liability saying that whatever we collect then is going to be due to the other funds and governments. Now, we are going to have to record the activity in the temporary accounts down here so we could see basically the temporary flow of what happens as well. We'll see how that happens at a later time. Then if we jump over to the general fund for the county, so now we're in the general fund as opposed to the custodial fund. We're focusing in on the custodial fund, who's involved with the custodial fund, the general fund for the county, the town general fund, the school district. So now let's jump over to the general fund for the county. What would be recorded there? Well, we're going to have taxes receivable of the amount that should be allocated to this fund, to the county. That, of course, being the $10,364,000 that's going to be allocated there. This is where we're going to record the amount that will be uncollectible, the 3%. So we took that $10,364,10364,000 times 0.03 or 3% to say that the $310,920 uncollectible. So we're going to record that in the estimated uncollectible current taxes. The difference then is what we're now going to record as revenue. So here, of course, in the general fund, it is revenue. It's revenue that's going to be collected by the custodial fund and then distributed to the general fund. Therefore, we're going to increase the estimated uncollectible current taxes. Here, we're going to increase the taxes receivable, and the other side go into the revenues as we would expect on a normal kind of accrual type of basis. How about the general fund for the town? Similar transaction, of course, except now we're picking up the amount of the town of the total that we allocated into the custodial fund, that being taxes receivable of the $4,856,000, estimated uncollectible 3% of that $145,680, then the difference of revenue going to the income statement account. So we have the receivable going up, we have the estimated uncollectible amount, and then we have, of course, the revenue, the credit to it. Next, we're going to think about what happens when we have collections. So we're going to say, hey, we billed this $24,935 in the custodial fund. Then we had collections of the $13,731,000. How do we allocate those collections out of the total that we have here? And of course, we're going to use some type of ratio analysis in order to do that. So what we'll do And so we're in the custodial fund. We're thinking these funds are all grouped together now, but we don't have them yet. They're in receivables, but now we've saying we've collected this amount in actual cash. So we're going to say, all right, well, let's look at the totals. Here's the totals. We're just bringing these totals down. The 10,364,000, the 4,856, the 6,564, the 3,151 for the total here. Let's take the percentages of them. And this type of calculation is very useful. It's applied in many different locations. We're going to take the 10,364,000 divided by the total 24,935,000. That gives us the 42 about rounding. So if we move the decimal place over, and then if we did that all the way down, we can take the 4,856,000 divided by the 24,935,000. That gives the 19 about percent, and so on and so forth. And if we did that all the way down, adding it up, that would be 100%. We can then use these ratios to then apply out the amount that was actually collected. This is what we billed. This is what was actually collected. Multiplying that out, then the 42% times the 13,731 that was collected, the 19 by the times the 13,731, the 26 times the same 13,731 gives us this breakout. And of course, the total of that breakout adds up to the 13,731 because we are in essence taking 100% of it. So that's going to be that. Then we're going to charge a fee. We're going to say that the fee is going to be 8% for the custodial fund to be handling this. Now, the fee is going to go to the county general fund. So the custodial fund, the cost of it is going to go to the county general fund. So the way we're going to calculate this is going to be looks a little bit strange here because we're going to say that the county general fund is going to be collecting the fee. Therefore, the other three locations will charge the fee, which is going to be, so we could say it's going to be the 2674062 times 0.018, and that's going to be the 48,133 about, and so on and so forth. We take the 3614609 times the 0.018, and once again we get the 65,063 about. And then if we were to add these three up, we're going to say that the 48,133 plus the 65,0363 plus the 31,233, that adds up to the 144,429. So in other words, these three are going to be decreased, subtracting out of the allocation to the town, the school, and the other towns, while they're going to be added up and increased to the amount that's going to be allocated to the county general fund, because the fee is going to go to the county. So if we add these up, then bottom line, the county is going to have the 5707162 plus 144,429. That giving us the 5851, while the other items are going to be subtracted, where we have the 2674062 minus the 48,133. That gives us our amounts here. And of course, if we add these items up, we get to the 13,731. Having this information, let's see what we have next in terms of the custodial fund, or how we're going to collect or record the collected amount of the 13,731 in the custodial fund. We're going to say first, cash is received. So we'll increase cash, and we're going to decrease the receivable that we had. So we had the receivable on the books at the 24, the full amount that we basically can think of as similar as invoicing, and then we collected cash for it. So cash is going to be increasing. We only got the 13 of the 24 that was invoiced, and then the 24 is going to go down by the 13,731 to the 11,204. So now we're down to this receivable. This is the amount of the cash that we have. Next, we're going to record the decrease in the due to other funds and governments. We're going to have to break this out now to who it's due to. So we got the 24,935. We're going to break this out in accordance with the table that we have put together for the amount that we have received. So this is all grouped together in one account, one liability that it's owed to the general fund for the county, the town, the school, and the other. Now we're going to break them out to those specific locations. The way we're going to do that is we're going to debit or decrease this amount. We're going to credit obviously the county, the town, the school, and the other in accordance with the breakout that we came up with in our table, as we can see here. If we record this, then we're going to say that we have the liability decreasing. So liability goes down, and then we're going to increase the county, the town, the school, and the other, as we can see here. Now we have those liabilities set up, and we can then pay that out with the cash in accordance with these liabilities, recording these amounts going into the liability account and then decreasing them, so we have basically an audit trail for that. Next, then, we can actually pay out the cash. So now we have the cash up here at the 13,731, and we have these liabilities. So now we're going to decrease the liabilities that we have now properly allocated in accordance with the table that we used, that we made with the ratios, and we're going to pay out the cash. So to do that, we're going to say that we have the due to the county, the town, the school, and the other, and then we're going to credit the cash. So if we record this out, then we see the cash decreasing. Cash as a debit balance is going down then to 0. Then we're going to record out all of the liability accounts. We can see them credit, credit, credit. We debit, 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 making them 0, 0, 0. So that's going to decrease all these out. Then we can think about, all right, that's what's going to happen to the custodial fund. What's going to happen now to the general fund for the county? This is where we're actually going to be allocating the items to. Recall that, of course, the custodial fund is the holding account acting as an agent for these other areas, the county, the town, the school, the other. Let's take a look at the general fund for the county then. General fund for the county is going to be receiving that $5,851,591 related to them in accordance with our table. So that's the amount that's going to be applied to them. They're also going to have the revenue, because recall that the county is the one that's basically going to be given the fee of the 1.9 that's going to be handling this, and therefore they're going to have an increase revenue of the 144,429. So the total receivable they get then is going to be, the cash they're going to get is the $5,851,000. That minus the revenue is going to be decreasing the receivable that we had on the books of the $10,364,000. So if we record this out, then we're going to say cash is going to be increasing. We've got the revenue that's going to be down below. We are increasing the revenue, and then we have the taxes receivable. Taxes receivable on the books as a debit. We are crediting it, making it go down. How about the general fund for the town? Similar type of transaction. We've got cash going up in accordance with the amount on the table. This time, however, we have an expense because they're paying the 1.8% expense for the service of the tax collection. And then if you add those up, the taxes receivable is going to be the $2,674,062. So recording that out, we're going to say cash is going to be increasing. We've got the expenditure down below, and then we've got the taxes receivable, it going down. So taxes receivable, credit it, and then it decreases. Going back to the custodial fund, note that we can see how this whole process is working. However, we're not recording anything to any temporary accounts down here in the custodial fund. And the governmental accounting wants to show activity that's basically going through in terms of the temporary accounts down below, in terms of temporary accounts, which would be similar to income statement type of accounts. So we're required to record the activity down below. How are we going to record this activity? Because you'll note as we've recorded this information, when we had the recording that would be similar to basically invoicing, we increased the receivable, but we didn't record any kind of revenue down below. We recorded that it's going to be due from others. In other words, we record the liability that it's going to go to. Now we want to record the activity, so we have it in basically the temporary accounts down below. The way we're going to do that is simply record the deductions for the admin fees. That's going to be the $144,429. The deductions for the payment of the property taxes, that's going to be the $7,879,409. And that's going to be related to the town, the school, and the others. So if we look at the last column, the allocation here, and take the 2625929 plus the 3549546 plus the 1703934, that's going to give us that $7,879,409. And then the credit then is just going to simply go to the additions, similar to a revenue type account for the property tax collections. So if we record this out, we're just going to record activity in the temporary accounts. And we have the additions increasing what would be similar to basically a revenue type of account of the $8,023,838. And then we have the deductions for the admin fee and payment of the property taxes down below.